There's an interesting battle playing out right now in the individual and family healthcare market, which is primarily covered California. And it's between Blue Shield of California and Health Net. We'll find out that it all has to do with networks or the doctors you can see and how you access that care. There are lots of HMOs in California. Kaiser's a huge HMO in most areas. You have HMO models even within Blue Shield and Health Net, but that's not where they're competing. The reason why they're really competing and people are researching Health Net versus Shield has to do with the PPO side of things. Right now in the California individual and family market, Health Net and Blue Shield are the only PPO plans available on the market. And depending on your area, they can be quite different. So let's dive into how to compare those two options. We'll find it comes down to pricing and it comes down to network. So first, let's look at pricing. On average, Blue Shield is quite a bit more expensive than Health Net for a PPO to PPO plan. And remember, the benefits are identical. So if we have a gold plan, it's going to walk and talk the same as another gold plan. So why are we paying a different price, sometimes a significant difference in price for a PPO plan? Well, that comes down to network, purely network. In certain areas, Blue Shield has a dominant network. LA County is an example of that. San Francisco is another example of that, where they really have the primary or some of the most sought after networks of doctors and hospitals. UCLA, if we go up north, UCSF, for example. So there are certain hospitals and doctors, if you must have, you're going to have to go with Blue Shield. And again, we see that a lot in LA County. So Health Net usually will have a different network. It's usually smaller. There are certain places where we find it does really well. For the most part, San Diego County, Greater San Diego County, going north, even up to Riverside, and even a little bit of Orange County, Health Net can have really solid PPO networks and be priced much better than Blue Shield. So it's really important to run your specific numbers for your area, and then also look at your doctors and hospitals to see where they participate. Because if you can get the same benefits and a PPO flexibility, then Health Net's going to be something to look at versus Shield. But in some areas, if you want a PPO and you want certain hospitals and doctors, it may only be Shield. And that's really how we compare the two. When you run your quote, make sure to load in your information correctly. Make sure to put in your income to see if we can get a tax credit, and those richer silver plans like the Silver 73 is available at every income price point starting in 2025. That's really hard to beat. It's almost a gold level plan. Then in the quote, you're going to see find doctors under each plan for the Health Net and Shield PPO. Put your doctor information in there, or better yet, shoot us an email. We'll chase down your doctors. Let us know you want PPO, and then we'll tell you if there's a difference between Health Net and Shield, because the online directories are not fun to use. We know how to navigate that very well and make sure we get the right plan and the right information for you for your doctors, because that's the big difference. Price versus doctors and hospitals we have access to. And that's why so many people are comparing Health Net versus Blue Shield. It's primarily for the PPO options and PPO pricing. So how do we compare Health Net versus Blue Shield for the Medicare side of things? We have to break this up into two distinct areas. The first is Medicare Supplement or Medigap plans. Those are like the PPO side of things, where you can refer yourself out. You're not locked into a local area. In fact, you can see any Medicare provider anywhere in the United States. That network is going to be identical for Health Net or Blue Shield. They both offer Medicare supplements, including the most popular G plan. There, it's a question of pricing. Since benefits are identical, networks are identical, who's priced better? And it can fluctuate depending on the area and your age, so you really have to run your unique quote at the site to see who's priced better for your situation. And that can change year to year, so don't just fall asleep on it over years. You want to check this every year to see if it makes sense to change. Even using the birthday rule, around your birthday, you can change to the same plan or lesser value regardless of your health. So definitely take that into account. Double check, we can shop this for you as well. That's Medicare, Medigap side of things. Now we look at the Advantage side, which is more like the HMO for the most part. There are some PPO plans as well. Here's a little bit different. Here it depends on the pricing, it depends on the benefit structure, it depends on networks. There's a lot more to look at. So you can't really say Shield is stronger or Health Net is stronger. By the way, Health Net usually is billed under WellCare or Centene when it comes to the Advantage side of things. Usually WellCare is the brand. So when we compare, we look at the things we always do with Advantage plans: the premium, the max out of pocket in case we get real big bills. We make sure we have our doctors, our medication and dosages in the quote that we run. So that's taken into account because that'll really be different. In some situations, Shield is very solid with some of the SNP plans, special need plans, like if you're a Medi-Medi, if you have a chronic illness. Centene WellCare is more competitive across, and they have a really solid give back, Part B give back plan to reduce the amount you pay monthly for your Part B. So it gets a little more complicated here. It's probably best shoot us. We just need zip code, date of birth, medications, dosages, and doctors, and we can run quotes across the board for you to see how they stack up. Because there isn't one size fits all with Advantage. It's more complicated. Finally, let's look at Health Net versus Blue Shield for small business. Here, it kind of depends on the demographics, meaning your employee ages, zip codes, what plans you're looking at. It's really all over the board, whereas sometimes Shield might be priced better, sometimes Health Net. They both can do what's called a Kaiser wrap, meaning offer Kaiser next to Shield or offer Kaiser next to Health Net. So for the most part, we have to run an individual quote for the company because they offer PPO options, they offer HMO options, HSA options. Across the board, there are different things we can do there. Definitely reach out to us. We can run the quotes for you. There's no cost for assistance. We can run them across the major carriers or just Shield versus Health Net. If there are certain providers you want access to. Again, the employer networks tend to be broader. So a PPO network at an employee level typically is going to be pretty comparable across the carriers. They're very rich and robust. Every now and then we'll see a certain doctor or hospital who participates with one and not the other. That may make the decision for us. We can offer a range of different options within each carrier. So bronze, silver, gold, platinum, or HMOs and PPOs, even HSAs. So we have a lot of flexibility there in terms of the options we can provide employees, and we can even cap our contribution as an employer on a given plan, let's say 75% of the silver plan, and apply that to all the different ranges, and they pick and choose what they want. Either way, with Health Net or Shield, they're very comparable on the group side, employer side, in terms of what we can get. Let's just run the specific quote to see who's priced better, because that can really swing depending on the demographics, the area, and of course, ages of the employees.